My name is George O'Hanlon. I'm the general manager of the liquor collection at Ward Warehouse, and we're going to chat a little bit about beer. Actually, IPA stands for India Pale Ale. That doesn't mean it comes from India. What happened was back during the English occupation of India and the wars over there, soldiers always traveled with beer. It's a long tradition, but they found that by putting extra hops in the beer, that it worked as a preservative. The beer would last longer. The English soldiers in turn developed a taste for IPAs. The IPA has evolved over the years to what it is now, is basically this super hoppy, high alcohol, very interesting floral beer, and it's barely recognizable from its ancestors. Like Bass Ale used to be considered an IPA, and you can see in small letters on the label it said IPA. They've since removed that and just called it a pale ale. The taste of a lager, generally speaking, again, is consistent from the tip of the tongue to the back of the mouth, and you can depend on a lager to be pretty much the same as it's always going to be. Where an ale is a little more volatile, a little more interesting. It will change more with time and still be drinkable. Whereas the lager starts to go off and change, you just might not want it anymore. Whereas an ale gets towards its back end, it may have taken on something just interesting. A stout is an ale to begin with. It's dark roasted malts. They vary a lot in alcohol content. Guinness, which a lot of people mistakenly think is a strong beer, generally has less alcohol and calories and carbs than a Bud. You know, it's more 4-point-something% than 5. Yeah. But then I've got a stout like Old Rasputin, which is, I think, around 9.6%, and you almost have to chew it before you swallow it, and it's a big favorite in this store. Big Swell IPA from Maui. Keoki Sunset might be considered well, it's an ale, and it's a little hoppy. It's not an IPA, but it has a little more of that hoppy flavor and stuff than their Goldenwood. The Goldenwood would be more like a lager, more of a refreshing, easier going beer. But big fan of this one right now, taking up a lot of space in my refrigerator.